Hello, listeners. In this episode, I'm joined by Naama Manova-Twito, co-founder and CEO of Marketeam.ai, a groundbreaking company that has created the world's first fully autonomous AI marketing team. Yes, fully autonomous AI marketing team. With over 24 years of experience in the marketing industry, Naama brings a deep understanding of the challenges and opportunities marketers face today. She explains how Marketeam.ai assigns a team of specialized AI agents to handle various marketing functions, including social media, SEO, content creation, freeing up valuable time and resources for businesses. Naama discusses the strategic approach of Marketeam.ai, emphasizing the importance of balancing organic and paid media efforts. She highlights how their AI platform can quickly adapt to changing market conditions and provide tailored recommendations to optimize marketing budgets and achieve better results. We also explored the collaborative nature of their AI agents, which work together to generate creative solutions and drive performance. This episode offers a fascinating look at the future of marketing, showcasing how AI can transform the way businesses plan and execute their strategies. Join us now and discover how Marketeam.ai helps companies navigate the complex marketing landscape with a cutting-edge technology. Let's get started. Welcome to the Ecom Pulse, your heartbeat to the world of e-commerce. I'm your host, Eitan Kotter. Join us as we meet with industry leaders, marketing experts, and the innovative minds behind the tech that is shaping the e-commerce future. So plug in, gear up, and get ready for a pulse-pounding journey into the heart of e-commerce. Hi, Naama. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Me too. It's going to be a really exciting topic. We're going to talk today about the world's first fully autonomous AI marketing team. That's a bold statement. So, Naama, it was kind of unheard of, probably maybe 2 years ago, even less. But I know that you're doing it and it's really working. So please share with us about Marketeam.ai and what you're working on.
Well, it is a bold statement. I've been a marketer pretty much my whole adult life, 24-something years. So I know how hard it is to be a marketer these days. It used to be a lot easier, by the way. We had 4 channels. If you had a good hunch and a little bit of a budget, I mean, you could get your brand out there. But over the past 2 or 3 decades, it turned into 40 different channels. Budgets stayed the same, but you have to have a lot more skills and expertise in each and every channel. Basically means you need more people in order to get your brand out there, which leaves a lot less budget for media and advertising. So we decided to train an AI team to help marketers, freelancers, small marketing teams, or even business owners do what a big marketing team would do, just with a lot less resources.
Okay. The statements are getting bolder and bolder. So, I mean, as you said, marketing is so difficult. I mean, there are so many channels, so many alternatives. Dozens of different options. What exactly do you do? And I know it's a kind of a scaled approach. You have a roadmap to release more and more functionalities. So where you are right now and what are the plans for the future?
Perfect. So the base of everything is having a model that actually knows marketing. So we've trained over the past almost year our own foundation model, which is a domain-specific foundation model. It knows only marketing. It can't help you with code or recipes or things like that, but it is very good at marketing. So what we've done is we've trained it on the intricacies of marketing, and then with our own proprietary data, we aligned it to actually be very, very good on different channels. But it's not an instruct-based model. So you don't need to prompt it to action. What you get is once you onboard, you're assigned a team of AI agents. You have a brand analyst and a brand manager, and you have an SEO specialist and a social media expert, etc. And they are trained to work collaboratively with you or your team, so you can invite your colleagues. So imagine a multi-human, multi-agent chat, which is really good at marketing. Each of the agents has a very specific expertise, and they collaborate through meetings. So if you were hiring an agency, it would work the same way. You would have an onboarding meeting, And then you would be discussing strategy and budget and allocation. And the agency would start working, and you have performance review meetings, and you'll do trends analysis meetings. So the agents works the same way. You just don't need to trigger them. You can join them. You don't have to, but they know the job. They know the brand. They research your market, your competitors. They're on trend all the time. They bring this information into each and every meeting, and we've structured the different meetings that an agency would need to do in order to do well for your brand. So week by week, you see them discussing your brand, researching your market, planning your strategy, your content, reviewing the results, and then executing on your behalf. And that's basically giving you almost a full-fledged agency, and you decide how involved you want to be in the process.
Yeah. I mean, as you mentioned, and you have that marketing agency background and experience, it takes a while for the agency to know not only the intricacies of the industry specifically and the characteristics of competition, USPs, market trends, and it's also about the company culture, company DNA, budgets, what can be done, what's working, what's not. A lot of data comes from analytics. So how this, let's probably try to dissect the process, how this onboarding takes place on Marketeam.ai.
So basically you give the platform, you give it your website, and then you do connections into your data sources. So your social channels, your analytics, things like that. And then the platform on its own is connected to third-party data sources. So you get information about competitors, trends, searches, keywords, everything comes into place, much like you would if you had a team of brand analysts working day and night for you. Mm-hmm. The thing with the platform is because it's trained to know marketing per channel in a very intricate way, and it knows how to pull the relevant data and use it for specific decision making, it can sift through a lot more data a lot quicker. So you ramp up faster, the learning curve is shorter. So a lot of the things that you would have to wait a good 2-3 months with, just me as a person, I mean, it's hard to be on top of everything all the time, and the brand and the market and the campaigns and doing the research. So you have sort of a superpower now that you can free yourself to take strategic decisions, like finding the exact audiences and doing strategic thinking with your team, sort of finding new avenues, and let the day-to-day mundane work be done by the agents, and they will bring their insights to you. You can then take decisions quicker.
Yeah. So the platform is connected to all the data sources of the company. On the back end, connected to other third-party resources, competition, various sources of information. And it's not here just to create content or some kind of a campaign. There is a more strategic layer trying to understand what's working, what's not, and what's probably the next steps to do. So if we talk, for example, on organic type of activities, obviously there are many things that you can do, right? Content, blog, videos, webinar, I mean, so many things. So the system will also provide some kind of a foundational recommendation on an ongoing basis about like brainstorming what works, what the next step, and what's supposed to be done.
Exactly. So getting the content is sort of the bonus part of it, but there are great content platforms out there. The only problem is that you need to know what you want. So you need to say, hey, I want to do a Google Ads campaign. I need X and X amount of keywords and of headlines, and this is how I want it to look. And so you need to bring your data in order for these amazing platforms to create content for you, and you need to know what content your brand needs. Mm-hmm. What we do is we take it a step backwards. So wait a second, let's look at your brand. Let's look at your limited budget. Let's see what's worked for you before, what's working in your niche. What are people looking for? And let's try to plan ahead for you, which channels, what budget on each channel, what we should be doing on each and every of these channels. And if it's not working, let's move your very limited resources to different channels. So what you get is sort of strategic thinking. What I like to call it unbiased strategy planning and execution. So the system doesn't have a specific preference if you're spending money on Google or on Meta or on email marketing or not spending at all. It just wants to see you getting towards your KPIs. So once you onboard and you set your goals and you set your budget, that's the framework it has to work with. And that's the recommendations. And if something is working well, it will recommend to amplify. And if not, it will be very quick to shut it down.
Mm-hmm. And the budget that you are referring to are both the, let's say, paid media budget and also your overall marketing budget for content, for promotions, or is it something, everything is taken into consideration in the decision making?
Yeah, you set a simple number and the agents need to work with it. Mm-hmm. So sometimes if it's very little, then they'll focus on organic. So they'll focus on content and inbound and email and things like that you can do fairly cheaply. It's harder to do organic well than it is to do paid. Mm-hmm. But I come from that world. So it was really important for us. That's why we're rolling out the organic agents first. Yeah. There's a lot less risk there. So people are more inclined to say, hey, I'm going to give it a go. And we're seeing really good results on social and on the SEO agent. Mm-hmm. Because what they do is they look at your brand, your environment, your competitors. What are people interested in? And they sort of aim to do that in a very, very seamless way. So every morning you wake up and your entire next week is planned, and you decide if you want to be involved or edit or approve, or if you want to put them on autopilot and see what happens.
Wow. Nice. So the system can say, hey, why don't we reduce the advertising budget on Amazon and let's go, for example, to influencer marketing because these and these accounts or references are good case studies for that. That's can be something, right?
In the recommendation aspect, yes. And mm-hmm. they'll execute on what they can. Sometimes they will recommend you do things for your brand that they can't execute. Mm-hmm. They'll recommend conferences and events, and they'll map out the ones that are important for you. But they can't man your booth. So that's the collaborative part where your marketing team or marketing team or your freelancer sort of has someone to bounce ideas off of, and they bounce their ideas off of you. And together you decide what to move forward with and what not. Yeah. And whatever they can execute directly onto your digital channels, they will. Mm-hmm. And what not, you will have to. So if you want to. If they decide to do, let's do an influencer collaboration, surprise box, whatever, that's a great idea, but you're going to have to execute on the surprise boxes.
Yes. And I know you're training, I think, 5 AI models to take various tasks. Can you share more about those AI models?
Yeah. So we mapped out the most urgent channels, to say the least, for small and medium businesses. So that's social media, SEO, campaigns across Meta and Google. And we have 2 non-action-based agents. One is the brand analyst, which sort of fetches the data all the time across all the different channels. And one is the CMO. So if you go into the meetings, you'll see that there's someone narrating the meetings. And each meeting is very different from another, right? Because a strategy meeting isn't the same as a performance review meeting. So you need to have sort of a character there that's able to activate all the other agents. So you have 5 different agents now. We're going to be releasing new agents soon. So someone for TikTok and someone for email. So each agent is very much a specialist in its own field. So imagine like small, very, very specific models working together. And it's really interesting to see how they work together because we very much encourage conflict. And where conflict arises, that's where also creativity arises. So it's not so much as agreeing with you all the time and building on whatever you said. It's let's discuss this. Let's come up with new ideas. They're very polite. So they'll say, yes, however, but still you'll get a lot of disagreement between them. And that's where creativity arises.
Yes. I mean, the user experience and how do you engage with those agents? Is it text-based?
So currently it's text-based, but at some point it will feel just like a Zoom meeting. It's just that not all participants will be human.
Yes. Yes. That's obviously, it's very, very soon to be like a common experience, I guess, in many, many use cases. And I think, during the prep call, you mentioned something very interesting that usually brands and companies are taking a fractional CMO role, or kind of a service agency that costs much more than the their planned paid media budget. This is probably what triggered you to launch the company. So tell us more about this this concept.
So as I said, I've been a marketer for a really long time. I just didn't share my struggles. So I came from very, very old school marketing. So telecom industry, that's RFIs, RFQs, decks, a lot of paperwork. And when digital came about, it was really hard for me to make the transition. I mean, I'm a technophobic by myself. So it's very, very difficult if you're very confident in what you do, it's very hard for you to learn new tricks. And I figured that Facebook thing, that's going to pass. I mean, I don't need to learn that. So it took me a really good while to understand that I'm not going to be winning the digital game. So I have to learn it. And I was fortunate to go into ad tech and to learn a lot of the things that I was really afraid of. But when I came out of that world, I sort of opened a CMO as a service agency for small and medium businesses, startups, services companies. And I got to learn closer that world of very limited budgets, very fearful on every dollar that goes out. And it doesn't matter how amazing I might be as a marketer. If I don't have the spend to execute on my magic, then I'm pardon my French, I'm screwing over the business, right? So I'm not helping. And that's when we tried to see, okay, let's see if we can bring about the knowledge of marketers, not in terms of this is a good blog, this is a good post, but how we think, how we research, how we make decisions, how we plan. And if we can teach a machine to do that, then businesses can shift the spend that they used to spend on a big team and move that towards media buying. So we're freeing up budgets and enabling the marketing people who do stay on board to execute on their knowledge, because if now they have the budgets to do it.
Yeah, so it seems that obviously cost reduction is a major, or let's call it probably a different financial investment on the marketing task, right? So you can reduce the fractional CMO or the service agency cost and invest more on paid media or other means of marketing, various marketing activities. But then what's the objections that you hear? I mean, then usually when you go out to an agency, it's because one, probably you don't understand too much, right? You need help, right? Or you need someone to manage your budget professionally across the different channels on paid media. But then if we move to an AI based marketing platform, does it require the leaders on the customer side to take more active role, more decision making, or how the flow of involvement is changing?
Well, I'll touch upon two things. So first, at some point, every business comes to it's sort of a vicious cycle where they need good marketing to grow, but they can't afford good marketing because they haven't grown yet. Mm-hmm. And they don't have the time. So they can't wait for 2-3 months to go by while they're paying someone like me to see if it's working or not. They can't afford that. So what we see oftentimes is that they don't have time to learn to do it themselves. They're busy up to here. Yeah. And as marketers, it's so fragmented. So I myself, I'm very good. I'll say that about myself with email marketing and organic. But if I need to start doing TikTok campaigns, I don't know how to do that. So I need someone to do that, or an agency, so I need to start expanding my proficiencies, right? So they don't have the time, they don't have the money to spread across various people to do the tasks. But one thing that we didn't know when we started is that it's very hard for them to trust people. Because at some point, some not very proficient marketer approached a small business and said, hey, give me 6 months. This is my retainer. I'll bring your brand to the top. They only paid. They didn't get any results. And it's very hard for them to trust. So with Marketeam, they basically need to trust themselves because they're the ones leading the process, but they have someone to hold their hand throughout it. So there's someone there to say, hey, today, this is what we need to do. This is how we're going to get to your goals. These are the channels. Here's your plan. This is your content. So you have everything ready made. And as I said before, you decide how involved you want to be. We see a lot of small businesses putting them on autopilot and saying, you know what, whatever they do is more than what I'm doing anyway. So Let's just give it a go. And when you see more informed or more professional marketers, they want to be in control of the process. They want to manage the team. So now even a junior marketer can manage a full team of experienced marketers, and his learning curve becomes a lot quicker as well. So he now is becoming proficient in fields that he wasn't before.
Yes. It feels like probably the technology is the only way to take marketing to the next level in the following years, because also there are no agencies who knows everything. An agency eventually, the founder or the small organic team, they know something, whether it's a paid media, whether it's email marketing, whether it's SEO. So not all agencies knows everything, and more communities and more channels and more tactics are evolving like on a weekly basis, that probably through AI and technology, that's the best way to interact. And marketing is all about experimentation, right? And trying to be agile and quickly adapt to what are the efforts or the activities you want to do. So definitely it's something that is makes a lot of sense, right? For what you guys are building. It's really, really amazing. So what else do you see in the market that is emerging in terms of like industry trends or opportunities, and also some of the pitfalls or problematic areas that we need to highlight for our listeners?
Sure. Well, first on your first point, I'm very, very pleased to see how open the agencies are to integrating tools like this. So they're very much looking to take themselves to the next level. They do understand that the future is here. And the quicker you integrate technology, the smarter, faster, better you get. And it's just not just about AI. It's just that this specific technology revolution is happening across all industries really quickly.
Yeah.
That's why it's making so much waves. I always say that you don't need to fear that the technology will replace you, but people using the technology will. So the sooner you embrace tools, the better you get really quick. I have to also say that in Israel, there's an incredible startup ecosystem. So I know everybody knows the bigger, more famous ChatGPT and Midjourney and all those tools, but you have an incredible ecosystem of local, very advanced solutions for probably every problem. So if you have a challenge, there's an AI for it, and it's probably Israeli. So you should definitely look into that.
Yeah.
In terms of trends and challenges, so clearly everybody's trying to integrate AI in some form into their operations. I think that it's easier. Funny to say, it's easier for smaller businesses to do that. There's less friction. They just want to see results really fast, and AI does enable that. For larger organizations, I think that they will need to learn how to reward employees for a successful implementation in order to remove the resistance. So if there's resistance in the lower levels of employment where, you're sort of fearful for your place, and you get rewarded for successful implementation of new technologies, be it AI or anything else, then it's a success for the entire organization.
You see this, sorry to interrupt, you see this happening? Do you see this like in the KPIs or the incentive structures of marketing professionals today?
Yeah, I see that there's a lot of difference when you come from management and you say, hey, here's a new technology, try it out, tell me what you think. Says, hey, this is a new technology. We're design partners. We really want to see this successful, and we're going to reward whoever's on the success chain implementing this across the organization. Let's set the KPIs together. Let's build this towards success together. And we're fortunate to get a lot of these design partners, but we've also seen the other side of it. So
yeah, sure. It's interesting. So I mean, we know that for AI to work really good, it needs to process huge amount of data, right? So how do you train the models, where you're getting the data? And maybe the second part of this question is maybe on the legal side of things, because obviously you work with customers and you need the data to train and improve the model. So how is it working in terms of data management, and how do you find resources to train the models?
First of all, find the best people on the market to do that. I'm really grateful for my co-founder and the team. We have the best AI and R&D minds on the market, probably. So what we've done is, before everybody even knew what ChatGPT was, we were already in this world. So my co-founder, Sahal Midis, he's been with LLM since 2016, and he's been in algorithms for over a decade. So everything generative AI is something that we've been using or building with for a while. And what we did is we had, like everybody else, we started out with a wrapper sort of to understand how everything works and how to do it. And we had a very lean system through which we were able to collect actual real world data and then meticulously annotate it or curate for LLM training. So the data that we've been training our model on is proprietary data we've been collecting for almost 2 years and cleaning it up for LLM training. But that's only the beginning. So what has to happen now, and that's where it's very good for our users, is each brand is sort of siloed, and the data, which is collected, the performance, how let's say that they wrote a blog for you and they set some goals for it, but it didn't hit the mark. So they collect that information and then they self-reflect, analyzing what didn't work well, and then they make changes and they measure again. So whatever goes on there is sort of improving for your own brand's model. And that's where you get a lot of advantage. And it's also an advantage for us because the platform is performing better for you. You don't have to reintroduce your brand every time you go into the platform. It knows your brand, it knows your market, it knows last week's performance, and it's building week by week from there.
Yeah, and specifically, on the, let's call it on the paid media, I think the output of this platform is maybe more straightforward. So you have a budget, you can place this budget on Google or Meta or TikTok, whatever. This is something that the platform will execute. On the inbound side of things, whether it's an email marketing or I don't know, social media like LinkedIn post or whatever, where do you aim? What should be like the throughput of the platform? Is it just on the decision making, where to invest time to generate more results, or it's also the content and all the reach outs and all the planning?
Yeah. So each and every social media platform is different,
Sure.
not only in terms of the audience, but also what works and what works for your brand. So sometimes you'll see e-commerce brands that are looking for more engagement, right? So quizzes or prizes or things like that. And sometimes they will, if it's a cosmetics brand and they want to highlight a specific ingredient and sort of give the educational content on why this ingredient is so amazing. And it just takes a lot to understand which platform likes what's working, what's not, and then creating the content accordingly. So the baseline for each of these agents is that it knows what generally works better for each platform, and that's your starting point. So your content mix will be a good mix between different media types, different types of posts, some educational, some interactive, some will be, about the brand, some will be, if you're uploading a new collection or a new blog or a new product to your website, then they'll promote it across social, and with exactly the product page link and the image, etc.
Nice.
So it's a good mix. And then they measure what actually got more engagement, what got more exposure. And then they sort of auto adapt to that. So what works on Instagram won't necessarily work on LinkedIn and vice versa. And also pretty bad practice to post the exact same post across all the platforms. But it just takes so much time. And I think it's one of the least liked tasks by marketers because organic social media only gets a very, very limited exposure from your page. It takes a lot of time and there's no immediate satisfaction. So you can get another like, maybe a few more followers, but it's not worth the investment of time. And therefore it's often neglected. But still, that is also for smaller brands, that's the beginning of getting some social proof where you see that the page is active and that there's engagement, real users. So it's something that you still have to do in order for the algorithm to see your brand and to give it the time of day, but it's not a very satisfying task. So giving that to the agents is very, very easy.
And what are your thoughts, or maybe the marketing throughput or output regarding diversification of channels versus focus, because with the increased focus these days around profitability and growth or profitable growth, brands and companies are zeroing to the most profitable product lines and market activities. So what are your thoughts on this topic?
It's a very delicate balance that needs to be held, because if you're focusing only on performance, media is getting more and more expensive to buy. Yeah. And if you're focusing only on retargeting and buying media, it's just going to get more and more costly for you. So building sort of a delicate, doesn't have to be widespread, but a delicate balance between awareness, consideration, and conversion across the funnel. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily focusing just on conversions, maybe a longer tail there, maybe collecting some emails through your campaigns, offering something for free in terms of content and sort of nurturing that relationship. So there are ways to balance out building a brand and buying media. And that usually in the longer term is a lot more cost effective than just going for performance.
Yes. Obviously, performance works better if you have good organic content, right? It's always important to remember. Great. So Ella is out, right?
Yeah.
Ella out. Please share with us what Ella can do today, and maybe some of the pricing strategies that you've implemented for Ella.
Sure. So as we spoke earlier, we're rolling out gradually. So the social media agent is out. You can connect her into your different social media channels, and she will do a post per day for each of your connected channels. She's specifically, because she's not yet part of the whole team, so she's also priced very low right now. So it's $15 monthly. You have a 2-week free trial. So you can try that at myella.ai. We're going to be announcing a few of the new releases over the next few weeks, so stay tuned. The foundation model, the multi-agent, multi-human chat. You can register for the waiting list, where you get very, very early access to the newest features, the newest agents. As design partners feedback us, and we get to build this amazing new tool together. Jane is coming out soon. Jane is everything on our blog is Jane. So she does very, very good SEO content, very well adjusted to the always changing algorithms of the search engine. So she's coming out soon. And we're really, really looking forward to building a community around this, because this can only work if we have the collaborative knowledge and feedback of our users.
Yes. And you've built kind of a self-service platform. That's the idea.
Yep, exactly. It's very easy, but if anyone needs help, we're here.
You're here. Great. So Naama, how people can find you and where they can start the journey?
So first of all, Marketeam.ai, join the waiting list, and we'll be happy to share all the new updates and sort of gradual release of the product. You can already sign up free for my LAI, and she will do all your social media. And I myself, I'm mostly on LinkedIn. Naama Manova-Twito. Reach out. I'd love to connect.
Sounds good. And Naama, this is the part of the episode where I ask you about a fun fact about yourself. And I know you have a few, so we are here. We're here listening to nice stories about you.
As being a startup is always, it has its sets of challenges, and then being an Israeli startup has another set of challenges, and an Israeli startup during war is a completely new set of challenges.
And as a woman founder, entrepreneur, right? It's also
I can't say that I feel it. There's a I know that that's an issue, but I'm experiencing.
Wow, great! Happy to hear that.
Yeah, it's a huge community here in Israel. I think the international community is much more aware. Mm-hmm. I can't say that I've ever felt any gender bias in terms of whatever I did across my career. But it is challenging. I mean, being a founder, not necessarily a female founder, is not a simple task. So when I am overwhelmed, I bake. I just run.
Okay.
I bake a lot.
So you bake a lot, I guess, right? Okay.
It's very, so and if you're looking for cakes, I'm here too.
You're just on the baking side, not on the eating side, I think, or it's both.
I don't know. I think I stress eat, but okay. So it's easier. No, but just one thing to say about the community here. if there's a book to be written, is the resilience of the Israeli startup community and the way that the ecosystem, took rise for everything that happened here and from the beginning of the war. I mean, within a week, there were so many initiatives for startups, be it from VCs or the Israel Innovation Authority or foreign investors coming here. It's incredible. And I have to say, thank you. It's incredible to be part of this ecosystem.
Yes. I mean, we move so fast and we learn fast, and the tools that are provided in the implementation and the sense of community and help, we get from all over the place. We continue to fight, we continue to struggle, and we will prevail. So that's definitely a good summary of everything. Great, Naama. Anything else you want to add?
No, I really appreciate it. It was so much fun, and thank you for everything, Eitan.
Thank you very much, Naama. Good luck. Wish you an amazing year.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. Your support means the world to us. If today's episode has been insightful for you, consider sharing it with someone who would also benefit. Even one share can make a big difference. Looking to elevate your e-commerce game? Discover Vimy, a multi-channel e-commerce platform that will transform your business with the power of shoppable video. Visit us at vimy.net to learn more. It's Vimy, VIMMI.net. Thank you for being part of our journey. Stay tuned for more invaluable insights in our next episode.